one and only Noel, photographer and creative. All right, we want to get into your journey, man. Tell us where you're from.
From wonderful city of Compton, California. Born and raised. Born in 2002.
2002?
Yeah.
Dang. You made me feel old. 2002.
Nah, yeah, I'm turning 20 this year, and so I'm just happy to be here.
You're turning 20 this year.
Yeah. I'm a baby.
Man.
I'm a child. I'm still a kid. But yeah, enjoying my time out here now that I'm back home from college. So
that's dope. That's dope, man. So what school you go to?
Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. I'm studying statistics out there. It's funny. I'm a creative, but doing
statistics. So I mean,
schoolwork with that. Yeah.
Well, I know numbers is a thing in anything.
Yeah.
Right. So for sure. So how do you like it? How do
I like it? It's interesting because it's I've been a math kid all throughout high school, and I feel like my creative journey really didn't start until after high school. So it was kind of like growing up, especially in the city of Compton, like STEM was really pushed onto us just because it's a low income community. They want kids to make it out, and for them making it out is making money. And so it's like, oh yeah, be an engineer, they make a lot of money, or do this, do that, makes a lot of money. And that's what I truly thought I wanted to do. And then luckily I got the opportunity with Color Compton, and that's what kind of really put me on, because it's like I was finally had the resources to start a passion that I actually wanted to do. I did film photography before that for like 2 years, and it wasn't even like I was actively shooting. It was more just like I shoot sometimes, and then I would go like 6 months without touching my camera at all until I could afford like buying more film or like developing it and stuff. And so I like what I'm studying. I like stats, but I know like deep down it's not my true passion. And so it's just maintaining like a school passion balance, if that makes any sense.
Okay, so what do you think is your passion? If like school, or is it math, like not your true passion?
I think it's somewhere between doing community work and creative work. I feel like seeing now Color Compton is like, that's a space where those two interests like collide, if that makes any sense. And so it's just like I still want to develop just my portfolio and the work that I want to do, but also give back to the community. That's like my number one goal. It's kind of like, who else can fix the community or relate to the community than the people who grew up in it, if that makes any sense. So yeah, that's kind of like my overall goal.
Nah, that's dope. That's fire, bro. That's really cool. That's really cool. So what high school did you go to?
Southeast High School. It's the school in Southgate. Yeah. So it's funny because it's like,
because you were in Compton, right?
Yeah, I was in Compton, but the situation was, it was like I had family going there already. Had a family who worked in that school. It just would have been an easier transition. I know in Compton, some of the math classes that I was taking in middle school would have kind of set me back in high school. And so because I had family working in there, they were able to put me in a better position, and I was able to graduate with more AP credits and stuff like that. So that was kind of the main reason why I did it.
Why you did it?
Yeah, why I went over there.
Okay. Cool. So when you first, I guess, like you applied for Color Compton? Is that how you got in? All right, cool.
Yeah.
So when you applied, like what was something that you expected and what's something that you didn't expect?
I just didn't expect, what I didn't expect is the community, like here. Like, it was interesting because it's like the only person that I knew that shot film was my friend Ruben in high school. So just me and him. So it was like anything, like new film stock came out, like a new camera that we were like obsessed over. Like it was just me and him. Like that was the only person I could talk to about film. And after coming to Color Compton, it's like, oh, there's a lot of more people out here that shoot film, that do this type of work. And it's like, where were y'all? Like all my high school, like where were y'all? And so that's what I was kind of happy about. And like another thing I didn't expect is like how involved I am with Color Compton now. Or I feel like even if like I went away for college and stuff like that, like I'm always in touch and stuff like that. And it's cool because it's like, it's a space that I didn't have growing up. The community needs it. And so, yeah.
Okay. Is there anyone in your family that's like a creative? Like,
no. I mean, my dad played guitar, but
that's cool.
But it wasn't like oh, this is my passion. It was more just like a pastime for him, if that makes any sense. Like, we're kind of but my parents, my mom specifically, like my mom's side coming from Mexico, they kind of didn't have the option to go into creative work, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes sense. What part of Mexico?
Guadalajara. So
Okay,
yeah, Mexico,
right.
like around Mexico City, I think. And so yeah, they kind of just came to the States, and it's like, we gotta work. They gotta find a way to make it out here. And like the cool thing is that like my uncles are passionate with what they do, but it isn't just creative work.
Okay, so when they got to LA, was it first Compton? Like where did they go?
So it's an interesting story. I don't know all of it, and Theo, if you're watching this, like correct me in the comments or something. From what I understand is that my grandma's brother had came to the States before all my family did. Like my family, speaking about like my mom,
Okay.
my uncles and stuff. And he was already out here, and he bought land out here, and he bought like houses and not land, houses. Sorry, he bought a house out here, the house that I stay in right now.
He bought house. You said houses.
A house. I think he bought houses, like not
Oh,
just
he
in
was
Compton.
balling.
I mean, he's pretty. He's doing all right now.
Oh,
that I think about it.
yeah. You know,
But yeah, he had a house out here, and when he found out that his sister was coming to the States with her kids, and keep in mind, my mom was like 12 at the time, like my uncles were younger, like kids, and he was like, he housed them for a while, and then everybody went back to Mexico. And then a couple years later, when my uncle was already older, I think he was like 18 when he came back to the States and like stayed after that. My grandma's brother sold the house to him. So, and the only condition was my grandma will always have a place to stay in that house, like regardless of anything. And so, yeah, I mean, that's kind of how we ended up here. We just had family that was already here already. And so it was just an easier transition.
So it was straight to Compton.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, so you Compton for real?
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like born and raised.
Born and raised. So what are some of the experiences that you had, you know, now that you're creative, now battling like this new place of school, and you're like you're pursuing math or education at the time?
Yeah.
I know you, yeah. So how did that play for you when you got to San Luis Obispo?
That's a whole different world out there, in the sense of like, I mean, we were talking about this the other day, but it was like I had imposter syndrome for the first 2 months, because it's like you walk on campus and nobody looks like you. Like I'm wearing Dickies in a pro club, like horses on with the fitted. Like that's just me. That's just out there. And out there, it's like, whoa, like what are you doing here? In a sense, and it's like you're in different spaces, and especially like educational spaces. I'm really one of the few brown kids in like on campus. Like it's very small, and there's a Latino community out there, but at the same time, it's like not.
What is the percentage? Is there a black community there?
It's so small, but it's funny because they advertise it like, yeah,
like it's popping.
Yeah, like it's like less than 1%. Yeah, or like less than 2% maybe, but like more than 30% of like all brochures and like the posters that they have up of students are like black students. Like they're really trying to market the whole diversity thing.
But it sounds like they're trying to be an advocate for it because they understand that there's a need.
Yes,
right?
And no, it's because like, yeah, there's a need for more students, but at the same time, if you paint this false reality of like, oh yeah, we're diverse and stuff, you have examples like me where I'm in a space where it's like, oh, I'm not comfortable. Like, I don't feel like I'm supposed to be here. And that's dismotivating. Like that harms my academic, performance. Because it's like, if I really truly feel like, oh, I'm not supposed to be doing this, then I'm not going to have a desire, a motivation, or like a push to succeed, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes complete sense. When I went to school, like I was gonna go to Queensborough Community College.
Yeah.
In Queens, New York, and I was like, oh my God, I cannot go here. Like it's way too many women. I'm like, oh my gosh, Queens. Yeah. You know how they say like it's a song, ain't nothing like a Brooklyn girl, ain't nothing like a Queens girl. Because I was like, yo, what? No, there's no way I'm going to school here. So I didn't. I went to the Institute of Audio Research because I wanted to pursue something that I really wanted. You know what I mean? Like my whole thing at the time was music production and me and being Dr. Dre, Kanye, you know what I'm saying? Like that's I had my MPC. I'm like making beats. Like that was my thing. And when I hear you as a creative, like you somehow you picked up the camera.
Yeah.
Right? And what are some of like the things that you experienced like now you're on your own?
Yeah.
Had like my thing was sometimes I would get lost in the music. Have you ever felt that way like behind the lens?
It's funny. It's kind of the opposite. Like sometimes I've realized that I'm scared of it. Not scared of it, but in the sense of like, and this only happened like when I moved out to San Luis Obispo. And this is why I say that like this space is an important space to have, like Color Compton and TVG and everything, is because out here, like I have the support system. Like I still consider myself a beginner, even though I have more experiences than like most beginners. But it's like I can have people that I can directly reach out to be like, yo, can you help me out with this edit? Or like, what should I do for this shot? Or like composition wise, like I know Angel, like I talk to him all the time because like he's a big influence on just the work that I do and like the motivation that I have for this creative stuff. And so when I went out there, it's like all that was stripped away from me. Like from having the community that like would support you, let alone like I feel like my work and the work that I want to do is a reflection of Compton, like the reflection of the city I grew up in, the reflection of my experiences. Then I go out there and it's like nobody really is gonna understand my work, right? It's a bunch of suburb, like people who grew up in the suburbs, like richer students. It's like then you're not gonna understand the work that I do. Then also it's like I couldn't find a space like this out there, and so it's like because of that, I wouldn't really do as much creative work. I would still do it, but it's like it's not the same as when I'm out here, and so that's like a big struggle because it's like, yes, I'm like my community out here like does help me out, but moving forward, it's like I have to be able to push myself just by myself, even in a situation in which like I'm not comfortable in, and that's something that I'm still like working on.
Yeah,
and so it's like I know when I go back home for next, or not home, when I go back to San Luis Obispo for next quarter, it's like that's going to be my goal, like maintaining, like making sure I still do the creative work that I want to do, even though I'm not in the ideal space, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes sense. Like, but okay, so you established that like there's not too much of a big like Black community there. There's not too much of a Latino community there. So in terms of like jobs, like what is the gas price out there?
Oh, like $6 to $7. Yeah, it's bad out there.
Yeah, I mean we pay $6 here.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if it was like more.
No, it's around the same too.
Okay,
but like
good.
Regarding jobs specifically for like creative work, weddings, you could do. There's like weddings. I know there's a bunch of like students when they graduate and stuff like that. Like I've been to the Cal Poly Photography Club meetings, and the older students that were in that club kind of have experience doing that type of work. I have nothing against it. Like it's not me, but I know the work that I kind of want to get into is more like music, fashion, and stuff like that. I have experience with both, and so it's like that's cool. That's kind of where I want to head in that direction. And so, but then again, it's like, how do I say this? It's like that space, those opportunities, I can't really find out there. Like I could really only find them out here. Like my friend who has a brand, Scarcity, UCLA, or when I did the Kids of Immigrants thing, it's like that's the stuff that I want to do, right? But out there, it's like nobody really has that story or that brand or anything. If that makes any sense.
Nah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I was speaking to a young lady the other day, and she said that there's like a Black clothing store, Black owned, and she was like, but it's only like one. And I was like, what? Like, but I don't know how big the town is. I had went one time to like an apple orchard or something like that out there. But so you being a creative, right? You're doing your thing with photography. Oh, mind you, what's your favorite photographer? That's a great question.
Oh, that is a great question. That's a tough. I wasn't expecting that question. I'm not gonna lie.
But no, we're gonna get into that too. But I just want to know, like, before I go into my next question, to ask you that, like, what is your favorite photographer?
As of right now, and I feel like the first just photographer that comes to mind is Volandis. He's a like YouTuber. He has an interesting story. He sold all of his digital camera equipment and just bought only film cameras. I thought that was really cool. And I also found him at a time where I was just starting film.
Oh, he's wilding.
Yeah.
Like,
but what I
like,
really
what?
appreciate about his work and what I like relate to is that he's from Detroit. So he like documents Detroit. And a lot of people give him slack or they talk bad about his work because he's highlighting like, how do you say, there's like, he had a photo set with a bunch of black people and then they were they are holding guns and stuff like that. And so people who aren't from the city that don't understand, they're like, oh yeah, you're just like, how do you say, romanticizing like something negative and stuff. Like he's like, no, I'm not romanticizing anything. Like this is what I see. This is what I do. This is what I live around. And so I respect that a lot because I think that's kind of what I want to do and reflect in my work.
Detroit is a tough place.
Yeah.
So I've heard. I'm not from the D, but still.
No, but it's crazy because it's like the work that he does is very, very like kind of like a flower growing. What's that term? Like when a flower grows from like a crack of cement or something like that.
Oh yeah, the rose grew from the concrete.
There you go, something like that. That's what I feel like his work represents. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's a powerful statement.
No, I mean, yeah, because in the sense of it's like because it's like kind of like in Compton out here, it's like there's negative connotations to the city, obviously, and like there's still stuff that can change and can go like change for the better, but he highlights the good stuff about his city, and that's something that I want to do, if that makes any sense.
I like that. Abigail, the founder of Color Compton, my wife, she actually talks about that in her thesis that she wrote for her master's. Like that was her whole thing, talking about how like the media portrays Compton, you know. But so have you ever felt any like outside pressures, like from family, friends, parents, like because of the amount of like time that you're, you know, sacrificing with the camera?
Yeah, 100%. And it's not even like I mostly get it from my parents, and it's like I know they don't mean like harm with it, if that makes any sense. It's more just like they come from a situation in which financial security is their most important thing for us, or like for us, me and my little sister, is because they grew up in a difficult situation and they know that in order to make it out here, you need a college degree and a good career and all that stuff. And kind of what just American media portrays, it's like, oh, you want to get a good career, you have to go to college, you have to do something like that. And I'm not gonna lie, I believe that too, going up to high school. Like that was my whole goal. Like I'm gonna make it to college. And then once I like started working with Color Compton and stuff, a whole new world opened. It was like, oh yeah, I can do creative stuff and make a living off of it. And I've started meeting more people that actually like solely dedicate their time to creative work. And so that's when I'm like, oh, like I could do this too. But what kind of like my parents don't understand is that I'm like, to start off, you're not really making that much money. Like you have to build up your portfolio, network with other people. And it's like, yeah, I'm going to have shoots that I'm going to do for free because I need to build up my portfolio. I need to build up, a following and stuff like that. And I feel like that's something that they don't understand. And so because of that, sometimes it's like, why are you doing this? And like, I understand their perspective and I know that they don't mean like ill intentions. It's all just they're looking out for what's best for us. But at the same time, it's like, they don't really understand that I can actually make a living off of this. Yeah. And if I actually dedicate like time and passion to it. So, yeah.
So do you think also like everybody, like I go on Instagram, everybody is considered a photographer nowadays. Like, so do you think that the market is saturated?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, yes. And the only reason why I say yes is because we're living in a day and age where everything's more accessible now. Like, I feel like now there's... Specifically, like I'm speaking about film because that's what I like know about the most of, like film photography. Prices are going up and stuff, but there's a bigger following for it. So... Damn, hold up, Mark. You got me like...
Yeah, I'm
thinking about it. Yeah, I feel like it is more saturated, but at the end of the day, like, I feel like the reasons why I follow a photographer isn't because of, like, they do photography, is because of the work that they do, if that makes any sense. So it's like, there could be a lot of photographers, but how many of them are telling good stories? You know what I'm saying? Okay. And so I feel like storytelling-wise is not as saturated. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. It sounds like you want to tell a story behind the photo.
100%. 100%.
Okay.
I feel like when I look at art, not just photography, but like any forms of art in general, like films, music, anything, I appreciate it so much more when they're telling the story with it. That makes any sense.
That makes sense. This makes sense. So I also on the show, like I always do a timepiece, almost like, but you have to answer these questions fast.
Okay.
You gotta answer it fast. It can't be nothing like, oh man, like I gotta think about this.
Okay.
It's gotta be straightforward. All right. As you see, I got all the records behind me.
Yeah.
We talk about hip hop. We talk about being a creative. We talk about music and more. Right. And before we get into it, the first thing I'm going to say, because I was like, hold on. The first thing I'm going to say, I have to do a quick ad. All right. All right. Monday through Friday, you know what I'm saying? You can definitely text us at the number below if you ever want to, in terms of like inspirational, as well as like Bible quotes. Every day, Monday through Friday, I send you a Bible verse. And it may be just a random time too, maybe at night, but you're going to get it every single day, Monday through Friday. Please check us out. Sign up below. Just text the number. But on another note, top 3 rappers.
Oh, okay. Off the top of my head, Kendrick.
Okay.
I'm from Compton. Like I have to.
Okay.
Oh, that's tough. Who's in my playlist right now? Mavi. I don't know if you heard about him. Yeah.
What's that? That sounds like a
Mavi. So
like something technical.
No. Mavi. He's. You know who Alchemist is? I feel like you have to know who
Alchemist, the producer?
The producer, yeah. So he does a lot of work with him. The reason why I like Mavi's work so much is, like I said before, he just hops on a beat and just starts talking about his problem. Like he tells the story and he's like, hey, this is how I feel. This is the struggle that I'm going through. And you can tell that he's expressing his pain through music. And I just appreciate that. I just appreciate when an artist uses their medium to decompress and all that stuff.
Okay, so somebody I've never heard of.
Okay.
Shouts out to you, bro.
And then lately, West Side Gun. I've been listening to a lot of West Side Gun.
Who is that?
He's from Buffalo, New York. Mark, come on. You know, Mark.
I've never heard of
Mark.
Mark. I've heard of Kendrick.
Who Griselda is? Like Griselda Records?
Oh my gosh, no.
Mark, I got to put you on. Mark.
Oh man, you got to.
Mark. I don't know. I'm
like a lost word. I've never been in a space where like 2 out of the 3 I don't even know.
No, that's
I've
funny.
never even heard of these people.
I mean, yeah, but that's who I'm bumping right now. Griselda Records also works with Alchemist. Alchemist produces a lot of the music, and
so it's very soulful type of beats. Boom, boom.
Yeah, but the sound is something like you really like. It sounds like Buffalo, New York, if that makes any sense. Like they're from Buffalo, New York, but it's like they have their own sound. They made their own community, and they're low-key coming up. Like
they're coming up.
I mean,
I'm gonna check them out.
I feel like they've been out there for a minute. Like
they got
everybody kind
vinyls.
of knows.
They got vinyls.
Maybe I gotta double check that.
All right. Let me know.
Yeah, West Side Gun. That's what
West Side Gun, Mavi, and Kendrick.
Yeah.
Okay. So put them in order. Who's the top?
Kendrick, off rips. I think in that order, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Order.
So another thing is right. You get to do a performance. Right. You get to do a showcase around anywhere in the world. Right. And you get to get 3 artists, dead or alive. Who would you have perform?
Oh, perform. Oh, that changes everything. First person I'm gonna say, and I've Tyler the Creator, and the only reason why I say that is because he is a great performer. Like, I feel like he's
opening the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I feel like his attention to detail to performances is crazy. I don't know if you've seen any of his performances. No. I'll just even send you some of his interviews, but he's very like tedious with what he does because he's trying to tell a story. It's his production.
Number two.
This
is the person. All right, Tyler's opening the show. Now we get into the next person.
See, but that's tough because it's like there's a bunch of artists I would want to have up, not just like hip hop, if that makes any sense. So it's like
it doesn't have to be hip hop.
Oh, okay. In that case,
Daryl Lopez said all music.
Daryl Hall and John Oates. Hall Notes. You don't know Hall Notes?
Oh, Hall the Notes.
Hall Notes. Yeah, I love that music. Reminds me of like spending time with my family. All that stuff.
Okay. So that's
them,
the mid.
And then
who's closing the show?
I'm trying to think of. That's tough, Mark. You give me tough questions out here.
No, I don't give tough questions. You hear this? Come on, guys.
Marvin Gaye. I'll say Marvin Gaye.
Oh.
I'll say Marvin Gaye. Yeah.
Yeah, you closing the show the right way.
It's a great, yeah.
All right. Where are they performing? Where in the world? Where is this going to be?
Okay.
This show.
There's no specific place, but I can describe it. I just want a small, intimate show. So I went in San Luis Obispo, Fremont Theater.
I've been there.
You've been there? It's a small theater.
It is.
Like, you can be in the back of the pit and still be like right in front of.
It sounds good.
Yeah. And I just love that. Like, yeah, big, like the Hollywood Bowl and stuff like that is cool.
Not outside? You wanted to be inside?
Nah, like something small, something close.
Okay.
And just like a small group of people and just appreciating the art.
Dope. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to know how people can contact you.
Ooh, okay. Follow me on Instagram, 90222. You can also, my website, 90222.com is up there. And I also have a Twitter, 90222. So
okay. And that's the photography page as well?
That's my photography page as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are some words of wisdom you would want to tell somebody that's coming up, trying to be a creative or want to get in this space? What is it that you would want to tell them?
It's nerve-wracking at times, but that's okay. And perfection isn't always the greatest thing. And like the reason why I say that is because I've heard this story. I forgot who said it, but it was just like there was this guy and he had just got out of film school, right?
Okay.
But he had a classmate. They would always compete and stuff like that. But the first guy, he had wrote a script and he took years and years to perfect the script, and then was trying to find the like perfect actors for it and the perfect location and all that stuff, right? While the other guy that he would compete with would just put out a lot of work. Like he would do a bunch of stuff. And so like in a 10-year time period, he hadn't really gone big in the space. Okay. But the guy who kept on putting out work was already like getting awards for the films that he's done like that. And so his thing was just like, sometimes what you need to do is just execute. And if you keep on executing, then eventually you're going to reach, like, it's like flexing a muscle, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And so the more you like flex a muscle, the better you get at it.
Facts.
And so it's like, yeah, you can get stuck on one project for a long time. But I feel like what I'm trying to adopt into my personal philosophy now, at least where I'm as a creative, is just like execute. And then the work and the acclaim is going to come with it.
All right, there you have it, guys. No, I appreciate it. I was like, all right, cool. Execute, guys, for real. Make sure you execute. That wraps up, this episode. I appreciate my one and only brother, Noel, coming through.
Appreciate you, Mark.
You know what I'm saying? From San Luis Obispo, right? That's how you say it?
Yeah.
For sure. So came down just for the interview, capping hard
so
that it not happen.
So much cap.
Facts. But no, it came through. I appreciate y'all. Stay tuned for next time.